As I said, this particular time travel only depends on your something called as tables. Now I said at any specific time, you can go and bring your data inside your table. You have done insert, you have done update, you have done delete. At any specific time, I can go and make some use of something called as time travel query. I can go and bring at that specific time or before that specific time, whatever is happening that I can go and bring. Whereas for database and schema, I cannot do time travel using the query. But we saw something called as a retention period. I was adding on top my database. I was adding on top my schema. But I'm saying I can only do time travel based on my table, not for schema and database. Then why we need to go and keep retention period? Do anyone have this particular question? Do anyone have this particular question?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Now, suppose inside your MySQL, you go and drop your schema or you go and drop your database. What does drop do? What does drop do?
It deletes everything.
Okay. Now this particular backup is not taken. What do you have to do? What do you have to do? Can we do anything?
We have to recreate.
Can't do anything.
No.
Suppose this particular schema had 200 tables and this particular database have 20 schema. It's a long process of doing all those things. Now, whatever the retention period you're putting on top of your data DB and schema during this particular retention period. Now we saw something 5 days. Now I had defined 5 days for this and this. During this particular retention period, by mistake, if I have dropped my schema, by mistake, if I dropped my database, there is a one command called undrop. I can do something this particular undrop and I can bring back my particular database and schema. It only happens because you have defined certain things called as a retention period. Only during that particular retention period, we can bring those things back. Are we good?
Yeah, yes,
Yes,
sir.
Sagar.
Okay.
Sagar, I
Same.
have one question. Actually, retention period we kept 90 days, but we realized that we made mistake after 16 days. But query history, we will have only 14 days, right?
No,
Under
query,
the information schema table.
see, and under your something called as there is a account history. I'll show you that particular query also. And under that account history, you can go up to 365 days.
Okay.
Okay, there is 3 ways. One, you can go and access UI. Another is user defined function. Under UI, it is 14 days. User defined function will show only past 7 days. Now, another, there is something called the account. Based on the Snowflake account, you can go and bring the query history. It will have up to 365 days.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Now, as I said, drop and undrop will restore your database or schema under that particular retention period. If you have defined something called as 7 days and on the 8th day, if you come and do undrop, can you do?
No, it's not possible.
No. Okay. Now, that drop undrop is applicable for your tables also. But along with that, whatever the DML operation you have done, based on that also you can write certain commands and you can go and do the time travel. But since there is one more thing called as a fail safe inside your Snowflake. Now, what is this particular fail safe is doing? Now, you defined your retention period, let's say 5 days. On the second day, you have went and dropped this and you came to know that on the 6th day, you came to know that my particular, whatever the table or database or schema, whatever the things or time travel things I was doing, I should have went and not done that, but now I have done. But this, my retention period is over. I will be not able to go and access. So that time what Snowflake says, don't worry. Once you have defined any retention period, this was your 5 days. I will give you extra 7 days. This extra 7 days, I will keep all the information in the backend. Until the 7 days is over, you can go and reach out to Snowflake and say, my retention period is over, but this particular database or schema or any table have dropped or I have done certain changes that should have not been done. Can we go and recover that back? At that time, you need to go and reach out to Snowflake. You need to raise the support ticket and all. You need to work with something called a Snowflake up to 7 days. That is, if you have retention period for 5 days plus extra 7 days, Snowflake will keep with themselves before permanently deleting all those information. That is nothing but failsafe. This failsafe is default has 7 days. You cannot go and make changes to this particular failsafe, and you are not able to go and access any information. Only something called as Snowflake will be able to do that, and they will be able to help you. Now, are we clear with time travel, retention period, and failsafe? What's the difference?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what about others?
Yes, Sagar.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how we can do time travel? Okay, I'll explain you this particular concept in the next class. That particular time travel and failsafe is working. But now I'll explain you. Let me see what's the time. Okay, we have only 10 minutes. Fine. How we can go and do certain things called time travel inside our Snowflake. Okay, now, as I said, you can go and write a specific query and you can go and do certain time travels with respect to few things. One, if I know that specific timestamp when that particular changes are done, I will go and write my query and I'll give that something timestamp, whatever particular timestamp is there, I can go and revert that back. Second thing, I know I'll give something offset. For example, I don't know at exact time when these particular changes are there. It might be done at maybe 3 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago, or 1 hour ago. I know that I'll give something called as an offset. Using this particular offset, I'll pass that into particular time. I can go and do time travel. No, I don't want to do that. I can go and do time travel with respect to a statement. The IDs which I have created, using that particular IDs, I can go and do time travel. Now, for doing that, let us go and see one example. Okay. First and foremost, I'll try to show you with respect to something called as a query ID because it is very easy to understand. We have an exact specific time. I will go and show you with respect to query ID. For doing that, all we do is this particular select star is there. Okay. After this particular select star, we'll add something called as at. And inside this at, what I'll go and say, I'll say something called a statement equal to and this. This is how you are going and equating in for time travel. This is a syntax what you have to give. And I will come and see this particular queries. I have this particular information. Okay. Now you did insert, delete, update, and what was your first operation you have done is something called as update. This was your first operation. This is the query ID during that you have done. And I'll go and pass my ID here. Okay. Now, whatever the records you have, that is there with respect to how much you have this particular 6 records. This is the information. But at this particular statement, I'm saying at that particular statement I have updated. I will go and see what are the changes I have done. Now, how many records you are able to see?
5 records.
5 records.
Now, before doing this particular update and all, at this particular query ID, my changes were this. Now, before this particular query ID, is Asia 2 was there or Asia was there? I did update.
It was Asia 2 only. Yeah.
Okay, I said update Asia 2 for Asia. Now at this particular query ID, I'm saying I'm getting Asia 2. Now I'll go and write something called as instead of at, I'll go and say before. And I'm running. What are you getting? So what's the difference between at and and? Sorry, at and before.
At means it shows that particular query ID what was the data, and before it shows before that query ID what was the data.
Okay, that's correct. Okay, at that particular ID only what was the data, I'll be able to see. At that before is nothing but before that particular ID what was the data I can see. For example, now I'll go and say where is select last query ID. Okay, now this is a statement I have run now. Okay, we have all this information. Now I'm going and saying select last query ID. I got this particular information. I'm running this again. Can I go and pass this query ID here? What do you think? Can I pass this?
Yeah, we can pass.
Okay. If I pass this, what will be my output?
The latest data.
Now you can go and pass any of the IDs from any of the statement at that specific time, whatever the information is there, it will go and display. For this also, it will be same because at that specific time, it was before or at that particular time, whatever you go and do. I have not done any changes. So you'll be always be able to go and see this particular information. For example,
So agar at before at means like after the transaction completed, is it? Before means just executing that before that query, is it?
see, you have done this particular, you have done a lot of transactions here. Okay. This was your first transaction. This was second, third, fourth. Okay. Now I'm giving this particular ID. Add now, how does it follow is when I go and say at this particular time, whatever there was there, it will go and consider that. Before I said, before creating this particular ID, you have created ID. In the backend, it has all information. Before this, you might have created all the information. It will bring that particular IDs, whatever the changes are there, it will go and bring that information. Now I'll go and show this particular ID. Okay. At this particular ID, if you go and see, you have deleted few records. So you'll be able to see that deleted record. Now you have what? These many records are there. 7 records are there. I have deleted 1 record. So out of 8, that particular record was not there. Now I'll go and run this piece of code again. Now how many records here? Do you have this 0? Africa?
Yeah.
Because this was a statement where you went and delete. You deleted that. So you consider delete also. Whenever you say add, you consider my current transaction and before whatever that transaction is there. But if you go and say before, don't consider current transaction. Current transaction not considered.
Yeah. Got it, Santosh. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, fine. Now I'll show with other different whatever the things are there apart from that offset and time. We'll see in the next class. But I'll show one more thing. Okay, I'm said drop table. Have dropped my table. Okay, I've dropped my table. If you come and see my demo DB, my demo schema, tables, reason 2 is not there. Okay, I'll go and run this. What it says? What it says?
It doesn't
Not
exist.
exist.
Okay, if table is only not there, how can I go and bring that? Okay, I'll say undrop table. Now if I come and refresh, table is there. Now if I come and bring, you're able to see?
Yeah.
Are you able to see the data now?
Yeah, we could.
Yes.
Because why? We are doing something called as a time travel. We are doing, and we are bringing that back data. Once that data is restored, I'll be able to go and see you all the things. Okay, now I'll go and do the same thing. I'll say schema. And let me go and give this particular schema name. Okay. I'll give this particular schema name. And I have dropped that particular schema. Now, if I go and say something called as undrop this particular schema, I'll be able to bring that particular data. If you come and refresh, is there? It is there. Is this particular schema 2 is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One last thing for today. That is database and database and database what? Let me drop this particular database. I'll drop it. Whole thing was gone. I can come and undrop it. Whole information, whatever the things is there, you brought that all the information back. Why? Because you have a retention period on top of your database and schema. I hope you got something. Yeah. Yeah.
If we change the name of the schema or anything, that we cannot undo, right? Only
That
drop
I'll
we
show
can
you
do.
next class. I'll show you how structural changes will happen. Okay.
Okay.
Are we good?
And another thing, we saw that we are able to see the table details with the query ID. Okay. Before then and add that query. But my question is, how can we restore that table?
I'll
We
show
are
you.
able to
I'll
see
show
it.
you. I'll show you that also next time. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay. Next class.
So for now, we can see what the data is, right?
Yep. It's only you are seeing. You're not going and restoring.
Okay.
You're seeing that. Okay. Are we good? Are we good for today?
Yeah, good, Sagar.
Good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
If anyone have doubts with regarding the course, please let me know. I'll be there to help you out.
Sagar, I had one doubt.
Hmm.
I mean, I completed like multi-cloud data engineering with Azure. So I, in some of the interviews, like I could not able to answer like questions on Snowflake and all. Like, so with this, I mean, it give me like, multi opportunities, right? I mean, I can able to answer like Snowflake in and out, right? I mean, just want to.
Yeah, we'll completely deep dive into Snowflake. Snowflake will go up to 8 weeks where we are doing a lot of things. We'll do end-to-end something called as a framework related project. It is not a simple project. And after that, we'll be doing DBT. So if you have these two along with multi-cloud, whatever Azure Databricks you have, it will be a always boost your career for sure. Because only two tools that are been leading in current market is one is Snowflake, another is Databricks. If you have both in your career, next 5 to 6 years, you don't need to worry about any other job.
Yeah, exactly, Sagar. Like I could able to crack something, but still people like to negotiate like more package and like, multi.
May I know your years of experience? Sir?
I had 10 plus years experience.
Then for that, for sure, we're having 10 plus years of experience. You need to have Snowflake and Databricks in your resume.
Yeah, sure, Sagar.
Then only you'll be able to go and negotiate that package, more number of package and all. Then only it will be possible.
Sure, Sagar. Yeah.